I want to explain something that happened in my hometown. So I had took charge of this case in my hometown where this guy, well, it was a city over in Sylvester. It's about 15 minutes away from my hometown. This guy got killed by a police by mistake. He was driving and the guy was walking and the police hit him with the car. The idea was that the guy was already dead after the police hit him. But the coroner gets there and mistakenly runs over the guy's body and then backs up over the guy's body or whatever like that. And they didn't know whether he was dead or not before the coroner came and hit him or whatever. Wow. So the idea, so anyway, fast forward through all that. They gave us all the case files, etc. because I said with the family that we were going to do a protest. This was in the middle of George Floyd too, by the way. I said that we were going to do a protest, down there because I'm just like, no, we need more information about it. Like, this don't make no sense or whatever like that. So before we did the protest, we sat down with the DA. And I'm not a lawyer or nothing, but they sat us down. They gave us every case file on that thing from the toxicology reports or the officers. They gave us everything. So once we got all the information, I gave it back to the family and the family was satisfied. I told the public, I'm like, well, we're not going to do a protest anymore. I'm like, because we got everything we needed. So people were upset about it or whatever like that. I'll never forget the sheriff of that town where we were going to do the protest. He made a post on social media and basically took pictures and said there had been bricks and rocks, etc., sat all around the city. Oh. I still have the post. I'm so glad I canceled it because they would have been on my behind about that. But there were bricks, rocks, everything sat all around the city where glass was and everything. They was like, we don't know about this protest. It's supposed to be happening, but I made sure I said, listen, we not going to be there. Right. So if all my people don't show up. But for him to say that, I knew for a fact during George Floyd protests, they were sending people around to these different communities just to destroy so things could get worse.
There were a bunch of viral claims that during these protests, there were big pallets of bricks.
Yep.
Placed everywhere.
That's exactly what he said.
And the corporate press was just like, these are normal pallet deliveries for construction. And then your story's crazy because...
I still got the post. He literally said they were sat everywhere all around the city. Mind you, this is a small country town, a very small country town, like with one railroad and the courthouse, like they used to hang people on it. Like, it's super old. So it's not even a developed city at all, like by no circumstance. And so for him the sheriff to go post that all of these bricks and stuff were sat everywhere, but the day before we canceled was crazy.
That's the reason why I'm saying I can never fully. Again, I'm always going to acknowledge the individual, right? And the individual's choice.
Yep.
But I can't let that, it starts to look like the system curates this thing to make all of the blame only be on the individual.
Right.
Not any of the conditions. It's like saying, okay, you guys could ignore these bricks and pallets of bricks and all of this that's there. You could. But we didn't give you all of the information on the case files. We unequivocally withheld information that would have changed an objective thinker's thought process.
Right.
Then we highlighted and took advantage of some legitimate anger that you may have about things in this community. We highlighted your anger, we turned you up, and then we dropped these pallets off. For me, I can be critical of the people in the community, but I gotta also sit back and go, bro, y'all dropped the bricks off and y'all run the media.
Correct.
So it becomes like you gotta have that two-way conversation all of the time, because if you don't, you fall victim on one of the two sides. You go, you're only blaming the system and not your individual accountability. Or the other side becomes, you're only blaming the individual. And it's almost like saying right now, the Biden administration thinking about blanket pardons for Fauci and a couple of other folks, right? Yeah. I thought you saved the world, bro.
Right.
If you saved the world, we should be throwing you a celebration.
Right.
The conversation then becomes, okay, Fauci is an individual that's been grimy since the HIV thing back in the day, right?
Yeah.
We can look at Fauci, but we also got to look at a system that goes, we got our prophets. Let's go ahead and give them the blanket. Yeah, I mean, when you don't do one or the other, you're leaving yourself open to the other side. And I think when it comes to black communities more specifically, because it's such a structured way of making it look invisible, we just go, well, y'all just doing it. You're not talking about the health component. Yep. You're not talking about the like blood pressure. It ain't just because black people got a genetic predisposition to have fucking high blood pressure.
Bro.
Y'all are putting things in the food and targeting them into specific communities. Again, that still doesn't mean Main man, Whole Foods up the street, bro. Like, you could still get to a healthy option.
We went to see my coroner the other day because I wanted to ask the coroner why are people dying in Albany just in general, because obviously they only post, you know, homicides and stuff like that. I'm like, what other? He was like hypertension, you know, heart disease, etc. He was like mainly because people won't get up and go walk, people sit in front of the TV all day, etc., etc. And he was like, food got something to do with it. He was like, mainly it's no physical movement, which is causing blood clots, etc., etc. So he was like, literally, I'm picking up people every day, heart disease, high blood pressure. This is my hometown.
Yeah.
Like nobody's talking about these statistics or whatever like that, but you know, we got a food desert over in that community too, because like there are no access to grocery stores in a, you know, close radius or anything. And the one grocery store they do have obviously is super cheap stuff or whatever just for them to get, but everything that's over there for them to eat, Popeyes, McDonald's, the Chinese joint or whatever like that, but it's all, and they run down by the way, but people gotta eat there because that's the closest thing they can get to. Most of them don't have cars.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.